join our summer feast, I want you to join us every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time for the continuation of a wonderful time of sharing. Because why? You have the power to win. And all summer long, we're empowering you with powerful information that will help you to reach your place of destiny. God bless you.
See Destiny Productions presents Power to Win with Dr. Valerie Daniels Carter. Expect a powerful half-hour broadcast that allows you to engage from the business world to the spiritual world, to be inspired and to be informed. Remember, you have the power to win with Dr. Valerie Daniels Carter.
Good evening and welcome to Power to Win. I am so grateful that you have joined with us on tonight. Won't you open with me with a word of prayer? Father, for all things we are thankful and grateful. Thank you for your mercy. Thank you for your tender care. Thank you for life, health, and strength, and for the ability that you give us to navigate from day to day. Continue to bless and strengthen us is my prayer. In Jesus' name, amen. Well, last week I got so wrapped up in telling you about a story that I couldn't finish it because of the time restraints. So I'm going to finish that story for you. Our series for today is dealing with the topic of financial benchmarks and the tools to financial recovery. I shared with you last week that we must set our plan. We must track and monitor our plan frequently. We must outline and define our matrix or benchmarks, and then we must remain diligent and committed to executing against the plan. The story I was sharing with you last week before we got abruptly cut off by this wonderful production team was when I was a 6-year-old child, and I had the opportunity to walk individuals to school that were 5-year-old kindergartners. And I would go from door to door and I would seek individuals that had children that were younger than me. Of course, I was kind of tall, so I looked older than I really was. Probably if the parents had really known that I was 6 in the first grade, walking their 5-year-old to school, they probably never would have gone for it. But I was so convincing because I knew that I had the ability to get those children to school. And of course, their parents did not want any type of elements like dogs and other bullies to get to their beautiful children. And I convinced them of that fact. So I literally had 10 kindergartners walking them to school at $1.25 a child. $1.25 a child every week. And every Friday, when I delivered those children back to their parents, I looked for my $1.25. And I learned then how to be able to save because I had worked for that $1.25. It's easy to spend money when you haven't earned it. Have you ever noticed that when you got a little extra money from a different source that you really haven't worked hard to get, it doesn't seem as difficult for you to go out and spend it? But when you've actually had to work for money, you've actually had to put effort in to getting something, you really take more concern about how it is spent. So I want to share with you, as we talk through this series on how to be more financially blessed, understand you've got to put effort into what you want if it's going to be successful. I gave you 4 points last week on being financially successful. And we will reiterate those points through the program, but I want to start again now with point 5. Point 5 is we need to learn how to diversify our investments, how to balance our risk and reward. When you have your insurance and an emergency fund, and it's time to consider investing now, there are an array of possibilities as it relates to investments. Each of them have a different set of characteristics. For instance, common stocks are popular with beginning investors or mature investors because their prices are readily available and securities can be easily purchased and sold most of the time. Then you have equity securities. Equity securities can be purchased as stock in a single company, as an unmanaged portfolio of different company stocks, or stocks in different companies in different industries, or as a portfolio of stocks managed by a highly trained professional manager with a public track record of results. Let me say that one more time. A highly trained portfolio manager with a success rate of trading. Make sure you know who's managing your money, and make sure you stay in continual contact with that individual. Don't just say, well, they're supposed to know what they're doing, so I'm just going to let them manage it. Learn how to understand the performance of your portfolio, what they are or should be doing. So equity stocks or equity types of management. There's also real estate. Real estate is a popular special income tax benefit. There's special income tax benefits to having real estate. Well, real estate is really more designed for individuals that understand how to manage real estate. When I first got out of college, I wanted to buy some real estate to build equity and build value. And so you need to know where you're best suited. Let me just say it like this. So I went out and I bought some real estate, and I began to manage those properties myself rather than hiring a professional manager to manage those properties for myself, because I figured I had a few little skills. I knew how to, use a hammer. I knew how to use a screwdriver, and I could do, a few things around there and save myself a few dollars. Well, little did I know the challenge of managing properties in certain environments. Let me just say it like that. And you need to understand what your tolerant level is. So, the first couple times I got up, went down there, and, tried to be diplomatic and say, you all, you realize what time it is? Why don't y'all, you go this way and you go that way, y'all kind of be peaceful. And I'll get this, taken care of. I'll fix the door, whatever. I tried to be diplomatic in my approach. But when it happens so many times, after about the second or third time, and you say hello, and you hear that boom, 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 or you hear that arguing and that fighting, guess what you do? You hang up the phone and you say, if God don't fix it, it won't get fixed tonight. So let me just tell you, here is the reality of understanding. What I'm trying to say, understand what your strengths are. That was not an area of strength for me, okay? I was not a good manager of those properties because I had to have a certain skill set in order to be able to handle some of the challenges of managing those properties. So eventually I sold all those properties, made my money, and decided to do something else. So you have to understand how to manage real estate and what types of real estate you need to manage. So maybe you will do better in investing in a real estate pool where there is real management handling certain situations. You also need to understand volatility. And I'm going to share that with you because regardless of your investment choice that you make, there will always be investments that are volatile. They may go up and they may go down based upon the number of buyers and sellers at any specific time. While we are most aware of this because of the stock market and the variations in the stock market, they're reported literally every day in the newspaper. There's a volatility in real estate. There's volatility in almost any investment you make, whether it is business or anything else. And for that reason, I'm from the school, and I teach my son that don't allow yourself to invest more than 10% of your assets in any single security or any piece of investment other than your homestead real estate, because you want to be able to breathe in case of an issue. Fulfill the responsibilities to loved ones. That's number 6. And we miss this sometimes. The Bible in 1 Timothy, the 5th chapter, teaches us, but those who won't care for their relatives, especially those in their home, have denied the true faith. Such people are worse than unbelievers. Luke, the 16th chapter and the 11th verse tells us, and if you are untrustworthy about worldly wealth, who will trust you with the true riches of heaven? Remember, you're not the only one in the boat. If something happens to you, such as a loss of your job or a serious illness or a disabling accident or a premature death, others dear to you will be affected emotionally and financially. I'm going to say that one more time. Others connected to you will be affected by your mishap, both emotionally and financially. These obligations are best met by you having 3 things for sure. Make sure you have health insurance, life insurance, and disability insurance. Health insurance, life insurance, and disability insurance. Number 7, or the next one, is relax and take the long, certain road to financial success. The ability to accept the unknown and to cope with the unexpected, such as wide swings in the stock market, is often referred to as risk tolerance. Everyone has a different level of risk tolerance, which can also vary from day to day within a single person. If you have an investment or you might be considering an investment that will keep you up at night worrying about the outcome, avoid it. Get rid of it. There are too many other viable vehicles of investment opportunities that may meet your objectives and won't allow you to lose sleep or suffer undue concern. If misfortune occurs, let me tell you what you do. If you make an investment and it goes bad, here is a simple, I'm not a psychiatrist or a psychologist, but here is a simple way to help you get over it. If a misfortune occurs, tell you what you do. Scream. Oh! Scream. Then, after you finish screaming, and nobody can scream better than my sister. She can just give it to you. After you scream, after you look and you see that you've lost 50% of your investment or 50% of your 401k, don't allow yourself to go into this deep depression. Just scream, just start hollering out. And then somebody's going to come and say, what's wrong? So what's wrong? And then when they say, what's wrong? Take a deep breath. Then take another deep breath. And then take another deep breath. And once you start breathing and recognize when you made the investment, I did the best that I could at that time. Based on that fact, then don't hold yourself in jail any longer or captured any longer because of that loss. Understand why you made that investment, and that at the time I thought it was a good investment. So I'm not going to allow myself to be, sad because now it didn't work. Sometimes things just don't work. And if they don't work, it doesn't mean that that is the end of the road for you. We all will have setbacks. We all will have situations and times where we will be in a situation where we wish things would have turned out better, but they didn't. And financial success and the road to financial success says, sometimes I'm going to win. Sometimes I may not be so fortunate, but guess what? At the end of the day, if I can progress from point to point to point to point, at the end, it's going to be okay. So as I look through my dialogue and begin to share with you what makes things work, I have to share with you that you have to have a diverse and balanced portfolio. A diverse and balanced portfolio. What do you mean by that? Here's what I mean by that. I told you not to allow more than 10% to be in any greater part of your total investment. True story. When I first started in business, I started with Burger King, and I started with one restaurant. But eventually, I learned how to diversify my restaurant portfolio. And so I began to add other brands. I added Pizza Hut. I added Haagen-Dazs ice cream. I added Annie Ann's pretzel. I added Nino's Southern Sides. I keep telling y'all the best soul food in the city of Milwaukee, Nino's Southern Sides. Okay, I added My frozen yogurt. I added V&J Cafe and other restaurant brands to the portfolio to diversify the portfolio. Because if one is doing well and the other one is not doing so well, I could still sustain myself. And then once we established the restaurant portfolio, we shifted and started adding non-restaurant entities to our organization. We started adding real estate entities. We started investing in other businesses so we would have a diverse portfolio in case something failed. And I tell people all the time, you can't do that kind of stuff overnight. It takes time to build the ladder of success. Let me share something with you. When I started in business, I was young. I was trained. I was in a position where I believed I could accomplish, and I had a relentless desire to be successful, but I did not have all the finances that I needed. Well, if I'm honest with you, I've never had all of the finances that I need in order to pay for my vision. My vision right now is so big and so broad until I will need 10,000 people with $10 million to be able to fund some of my initiatives. Now, if you're out there and you're listening to me and you've got that 10 million, just call me. I guarantee you I'll respond. But listen, what I'm saying to you, what I'm really saying to you is, as you continue to grow and as you continue to navigate and as you continue to ascend, you will always expand your vision and you won't always have the capacity to pay for it right away. But you don't stop dreaming. You don't stop thinking about how you grow. You take it step by step. So here's a perfect example. And I want to share this with you because I think it's so critically important for life's lessons when it comes to financial success. Some people say, I want my own business. I want to be an entrepreneur. Why do you want to be an entrepreneur? Because I want my own business. I want to set my own hours. Is that why you want to be an entrepreneur? Because you want to set your own hours? Well, then you go home and you find a marketing service that'll just let you get on the phone and make phone calls whenever you're conveniently able to do so, and you can set your own hours. That's not why you go in business or become an entrepreneur. And then I want to dispel another myth. There's nothing wrong with being an employer. There's nothing wrong with being an employee. You have to understand where you best fit. I've shared with people over and over again. When I worked at the bank, at First Wisconsin National Bank and MGIC Investment Corporation, I was the best employee that I could possibly be. I was my own entrepreneur in a place that I didn't own. I created my destiny. I created the platform for success. I created dynamics for that company because success was in me, not because I was the employer, not because I was the employee, but because I had a desire for financial success. You can be successful whether you're the employee or the employer. You have to know what you have the aptitude for. You have to know what you have the skill set for. You have to be willing as the entrepreneur to be in a situation where guess what? Somebody is waking you up at 3 o'clock in the morning and you've got to get up. Or guess what? Even one better than that. You've got to be willing to get a phone call at midnight saying the restaurant just got robbed. And you got to say, oh, well, I'm going to get up. I'm going to go down there and I'm going to talk to the police. I'm going to make sure all my employees are okay. I'm going to take care of business. I'm going to restart the store. I'm going to give them the counseling you got to be able to understand all the steps that are necessary. Let me give you one better than that. You have to understand in this pandemic environment how to manage through until 2021 or 2022 when it's over with. Have you set parameters? Have you set guidelines for you to be able to protect your employees, for you to be able to protect those that you're responsible for? When you are a true entrepreneur, you're responsible not just for yourself. You're accountable for everybody that's connected to you. I shared with you guys one time before, I believe I had a wonderful a leader, a trainer within our company. And she had worked for me 20 years. And at that time, I had a 20-year rule that said when a person had worked for me for 20 years, if they wanted to do something on their own, I would help fund and get them started. And I went to that young lady and I said, would you like to get started in your own business? And I'm prepared to help you. She looked at me and she said to me emphatically, no. I said, no. She says, no. She says, number one, I enjoy what I'm doing. She was a trainer. She says, I enjoy training people. She says, I have a passion for it. And she says, I've been doing it for 20 years and I can do it in my sleep. She says, and I make you better when I do what I can do. Well, I was happy right there when she said, I make you better. I said, well, are you sure? She says, no. She says, but here's the real reason. She says, Miss Carter, I see how you work. She says, and I don't ever in life want to work like that. She says, I'm just being honest and transparent with you. I can't do that. I don't know how you balance it. I don't know how you do it. She says, I'm not even going to try. She said, I can come here at 7 or 8 in the morning. I can do my job. I can go in the stores. I can make sure everything's okay. I can manage through that. Then I can go home. I can go home at night. And guess what? I can have dinner and enjoy myself. She says, but you sending us emails late at night talking about what has to get done tomorrow. She says, and sometimes, to be honest with you, I read that email and I said, tomorrow's going to take care of tomorrow. She said, but you can't shut down like that. Let me tell you something. If you're going to be successful as the leader of your ministry or as the leader of your organization or as the leader of your business, you cannot automatically shut down because it's 5 o'clock. You have a responsibility to be able to extend and give what's needed if you're going to be financially successful in your business. So there are tools that are designed and that have been crafted to make us financially successful as we navigate through our businesses and as we navigate through our ministries and as we navigate through our organizations. Let me deal one moment with ministries that are shifting and trying to make financial decisions during this pandemic period as it relates to the fact that your gifting and your tithing and offering may be limited because people are going through transitional times and they may not be able to sow or share at the same level. The first principle that I gave you guys last week was always make sure your spending is less than what you receive, and you will always be on top when it comes to having enough. So if you receive tithe and offerings of $1,000, make sure your expenses do not exceed that of what you receive. And pastors, you won't have the stress. I've spoken to so many ministers and pastors over the last several months that are stressed out because they're looking at their utility bills. They're looking at their mortgage payments. They're looking at all the bills that they have in their ministries that they created when they were doing well. Go back to your mortgage company. Renegotiate with your mortgage company. Let them know that you need a temporary moratorium on paying perhaps the principal part of your debt, and I can pay the interest part until things recover. Go back and renegotiate with your utilities and get on a plan that would allow you to manage through making sure you can keep your heat on during the winter months, or making sure you have sustainability with your employees. You may even have to go back to some of the people working in your ministry and say, look, for a moment, we all need to take either an extra day off or we need to take a little cutback so everybody can have something to live by. Adjust, create the strategy, and you can be blessed. My time is out again, and I've not even touched the surface of what I wanted to talk about as it related to financial success. But hopefully, as you continue to listen to our broadcast and continue to visit us on our website or visit us on YouTube, you will be blessed. Valerie Daniels Carter is my name, and I ask you to go and be a part of a bigger picture. What is that bigger picture, Dr. Carter? We have merchandise on our website, and that merchandise is being used to help ministries, to help orphans, to help children and the elderly sustain. I'm praying and asking you to go to the website, purchase some of the merchandise so we can be a blessing to others. Thank you for your time tonight. Won't you close with me in prayer? Father, for all things we are grateful and thankful. Thank you for your goodness and mercy and tender care. Bless these your people is my prayer in Jesus' name. Amen. God bless you.
We're so glad you joined us tonight. Please like us on Facebook and follow us on YouTube and Instagram. We look forward to seeing you next week. Remember, you have the power to win with Dr. Valerie Daniels Carter.